What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Millionaire Habit series. Coming at you with another millionaire habit. But before we dive into this week's millionaire habit, I want to give a little recap as we go into week 4, habit 4. The original number one habit we discussed is become insatiably curious. I don't know if you all remember when you were young, we were curious about everything before we found out, how life actually works. And it's nothing like discovering a subject matter that you're curious about that compels you, even drives you to find out more and more. To be like Alice in Wonderland, going down that rabbit hole, discovering as much as you can about a subject matter. And our subject matter is how to turn 15 cents into a dollar and a dollar into 100 and 100 into 1,000 and 1,000 into a million. We want to become wealthy. And this channel is dedicated to all things investing, business, and finance. Habit number 2, a portion of all you earn is yours to keep. What does that mean? That simply means paying yourself first. You are your number one priority with any money that you generate. Now, there's a higher tier level that once you actually get any type of money, you take that a portion of that money and you give it away. What we call in our house, you bless your lump. Your tithe, your first fruits you give to a higher power, and then you pay yourself first. Then the third habit was consistency. Slow and steady wins the race every single time, which leads me to my favorite children's book that I shared with my sons and was one of mine, which is the story of the tortoise and the hare. No matter how many times you read that book, the tortoise wins the race every single time. Consistency, slow and steady, wins the race. And in this microwave society that we live in nowadays, when everybody wants everything right now, some of us wanted it yesterday. The person that has the ability to delay gratification, be intentional with their efforts, and consistent will always win. Which brings us to this week's habit, millionaire habit number 4. And what is that? Millionaire habit number 4: how a simple kiss can get you on your way to riches. That's right, KISS. It's an acronym for Keep It Simple. Some would say keep it simple stupid. Some would say keep it simple silly. I've changed that phrase to a more internal, empowering keep it simple son. And it's not gender neutral. Son can be a female or it can be a male. Or it is gender neutral. I'm talking about SUN. Because when you keep it simple, son, it brings light and awareness to your focus of the task at hand. K.I.S.S. Keep it simple, son. And that simply means start with where you are, with what you have, and go for it. Do a personal assessment of where you're at financially, where you're at mentally. Who are you today and who do you aspire to become? That's the essence of keeping it simple. And remember, we're not in a competition. We're tapping into our creative gifts, our ability to become creators of the reality that we desire. Because always remember, collaboration is greater than competition. And in order for us to become better collaborators, we have to create the environment. We have to create the understanding. We have to create the perspective that allows us to keep things simple. And what I mean by keeping things simple, I give you an example. So I have two sons. I have a 24-year-old and a 20-year-old. And when I became a young father, when my first son was born, I was trying to figure out what kind of things can I instill in them through my example and through my engagement with them that would afford them an opportunity to subconsciously know that no matter what things happen in their life, that they have the ability to figure it out and be successful in any endeavor. So By the time my oldest son was able to talk, around 3, 4, and we could have, little father son conversations, I started telling them things like, son, the best leaders will follow her first, but for you, I desire for you to be a leader. Always look out for those that are in your circle. I also taught them the difference between an asset and liability. I said, son, assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out of your pocket. And so we would have these little mantras. I would speak into them and have them repeat after me that there's nothing he can't accomplish if he sets his mind to it and puts the effort forth. And so these simple, 1 or 2 sentence conversations I would have with my son at 3, 4 years old were continued throughout his life. And I continue to do those things with his younger brother. And once they started, getting blessed with birthday money or, holiday money, anytime they came into money, I also taught them this very simple principle. When you get money, all you have to do is 3 things to be successful. One, if you get $10, give $1 away. Just give it to someone less fortunate, tithe it to some religious institution, put it in an envelope so you can give it to somebody that's in need in the future. And then with your $9, I encourage them to save half of that. But for math purposes, since they were young kids, I simply said, of that $9, save 5. And you can spend the other 4 on whatever you want. And that applied to whether they got $100, $1,000, or $1. But what I've discovered as they've gotten older is there's a key component. Once you've blessed your lump, once you've put a portion of it to the side, and then what you have left you can spend, the portion I missed that was so simple, but I'm discovering it as they're young men now, was the management, was the stewardship of those resources. Because getting money and giving a portion of it away, putting aside, paying yourself first and putting a portion of it to the side, and then managing the rest, is all stewardship, it's all money management. And if you don't keep those things simple, you overcomplicate them in your head. And I watched both of them struggle with that dynamic. And I'll probably segue the money management and the stewardship portion of anything that you earn monetarily is probably top 3 from what I've discovered, because you would think the more money you make, it would be easier to manage your life, but that's not true, because there's 2 types of money problems: not enough and too much. Now, that is absolutely a subject matter for another video, but for the sake of keeping it simple, the KISS principle I'm trying to instill in you all, or just simply share or make you aware, is that the simpler we make things, the easier it becomes for us to execute. One of the things I discovered about myself, even as it pertains to this YouTube campaign that I'm on, is that the more difficult we make things in our mind, it becomes even more difficult to execute in reality. So I have a tendency to strip away everything that would prevent me from executing on any said plan. For example, this YouTube video. I've created, I'm in my actual studio slash library. And rather than set up, I need to go to Amazon, I need to buy this camera, I need to buy this light, I need to get this set up and get it. I said, look, man, I have an iPhone 15. My sons have they do the social media, so they share the stand with me. I got a little ring light above giving me a little shadow, a little action in the background. And I'm not going to give you the rest of my YouTube studio secret. That's another video too. But I made it as simple as possible so that I can simply get started. And for the past 7 months, I've pretty consistently put out a video a week, trying to get a little bit better, learn a little more about this process, probably my strongest emphasis has been turning the camera on and actually getting comfortable with simply sharing what's on my mind, sharing what's on my heart, and being a little vulnerable and sharing my experiences. And so, how did that apply to the KISS principle? I have the exact same setup. The only thing I do is take the phone off of the doggone triplex and unplug the microphone, sit it to the side so I can come right back once I've gathered ideas, written out a script, and come and hit record. That's it. Wash, rinse, repeat. And the KISS principle simply inspires you to don't overcomplicate things. Pick one thing and execute on that one thing. Because the more steps you put in a process, especially mentally, like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. These are the things that stop you from taking action. And the only way you're going to get wealthy in this America is to take action and figure it out as you go. Because everything is figure outable. We live in the information age. Technology is growing, I want to say every 3 to 6 months new information and new realities are being revealed because of how advanced technologies are. So I wanted to simply come on here and share with you all this week. We can all get rich if we simply apply a little KISS to everything we do. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in this week. We'll definitely be back next week with the next Millionaire Habit. I'll make sure I do a summary and a culmination of this thing and try and provide more tangible examples to you all. But if you like this content and you can appreciate some of the awareness that I'm bringing to you, hey, drop a comment in the comment section. Throw a little thumbs up for your guy. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Till next week, YouTube. Peace.